Tim Hughes here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite. With me today, I'm proud to say I've got Shep Hyken, and we're going to be talking about customer experience, artificial intelligence, the impact of artificial intelligence on customer experience, and getting into quite a lot of detail. So, Shep, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you?
Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. People can find me on my website, hyken.com, HYKEN.com. There's lots of articles. You can sign up for my newsletter. It's free. I have research that I do every year. You can download that report without even giving me your email address. If you just click on it, it opens up. It's about a 36-page report filled with stats and facts about customer service and experience.
So I found an article of yours in Forbes from the 27th of April, which you titled, "What Your Customers Think of AI, You Need to Know This." And this is actually all built around that research that you did. So why don't you give us a little bit about the inspiration behind the research, why you do it, and your views, because on what you thought that the outcome was.
Sure. I started doing the research back, I don't know, 6 years or so ago. And the reason you want the inspiration is I'm supposed to be the expert at what I do. I'm known around the world. I've been doing this for decades, and I was quoting everybody else's stats and findings from their reports. And I thought I should have my own report. So I hired a research company to help me properly craft the questions and make sure we got unbiased answers. And since then, it's become a much larger report, but that's why I do it. And in the last 2 years, maybe 3, I've been asking about digital support, but now it's digital support fueled by AI. You know, those chatbots, which used to be not really AI. Well, it was AI, but not generative AI like we have today, or
it tended to be a decision tree, didn't it, rather than a
if they ask this question, give them this answer. If they answer it this way, then go the other way. And it was all pre-programmed. And oftentimes the technology could not understand what the customer was asking. For example, one day I'm on a website, I'm looking to buy something as an accessory to my computer. And when I ask a question about the accessory, the response from the chatbot was, "Which computer do you want to buy?" Well, I don't want to buy a computer. I'm interested in the accessory. And I asked the question a different way, and the same answer came back. And then I realized it's time to get on the phone and call. But interestingly enough, the first stat I think I'd love to share, which I think may set this conversation in the right direction, is that when we ask, would you rather go and get digital self-service support fueled by AI or any other way, or would you rather use the phone? The numbers hardly changed from year to year since the time I've started doing this. It's about 7 out of 10 people. 68% this year said, I'd rather use a phone than use, any type of self-service support. And my response to that, I think if I asked the question a different way, without giving them a choice of phone or digital, I would ask, would you rather get your question answered right now or wait on hold for 10 minutes to get the answer? And that might give me a better idea of what people want, but how they go about doing it is a different story.
You say in the research that 50% of customers resolved issues using AI, and that's up from 32% last year. What do you think has driven that leap?
The comfort level, number one, is increasing. Number two, the capability is become so reasonably priced that almost any company could get into a good AI solution for general customer support. Very inexpensive. The reason the numbers I still think are as low as they are is that there are companies out there with legacy systems that aren't even cloud-based. Some of them have these huge rooms with lots of hardware in it. And we call it the Frankenstack because they keep piling technology on top of technology to try to give the customer what they want. And then at the same time, they're trying to get their investment, recoup their investment. And what's happening today is the advancements in the technology and the capability is going so fast that almost anything you buy today, 6 months, a year later, it's not that it's obsolete. It's just, it's better. And that's why, and I realize this probably doesn't have a lot of interest to our listeners, but behind the scenes, companies are saying to themselves, if we're going to invest in new technology, which, by the way, much less expensive today, like I mentioned, let's make sure we invest in technology that allows us to grow and upgrade as we increase the capability. It's still, we're still having customers tell us that their experiences are so bad that they're reluctant to use AI self-service experiences because some companies just haven't figured it out, and therefore it taints. It's like, you know how the rising tide lifts all boats. Well, one that doesn't do so well brings everybody down because now people are reluctant to use and try it with a new company or brand they're doing business with because of the old experience they used to have.
Yeah, I think there's we tend to bring all of our previous experiences, don't we, when we're using anything to do with customer experience. Though, and in your report, you said that 51% of users received incorrect information from AI. So that kind of backs that up.
Yeah, and that's why, 50% people said they've, successfully resolved the issue. To your point, this is what frustrates customers. They receive bad information. And this isn't about hallucination, although I guess it could be if it's set up the right way. The AI shouldn't hallucinate in a customer support experience. But if people are receiving incorrect information, it means the AI is not picking up on the way the customer's phrasing the question. We've talked about or heard about something called prompt engineering, which is where are we creating a prompt the right way to get the information that we want? Well, we shouldn't put that problem on our customers. We should have a system that's so intuitive and understands the many different ways the customer can ask the same question.
So how do you think that businesses should balance basically the innovation with reliability and the trust that they're in effect expecting from the client?
Well, boy, how should we balance it? I don't think it's a question of balance. I think it's a question of do we have a solution that does that? Period. The end. The balance, in my mind, doesn't come from, trust and all that. Sure, the only way you get trust is when it's a predictable experience that happens again and again and again. Nobody can, if you're getting ready to do business with a new vendor or a new brand, if you're a consumer doing it with a retailer, you don't know what the experience is going to be the first time you need help or have a question until you actually do it.
Right.
And once you do it and you go, wow, that was easy, that's exactly the way it should have happened, then what happens when it happens again? So I just wrote an article. It came out today, as a matter of fact, as we're recording this, that talks about the customer service or support paradox, which is trust increases when there's a problem that's solved correctly. Is that amazing? We never want our customers to have a problem. And so I create these cartoons every week that I include in my newsletter. And
you do. By the way, but people, you should get Shep's newsletter because there is always a cartoon in it and it always makes you laugh.
Well, thanks. I don't know if it makes you laugh. It's kind of like a summary. This one I thought was clever today. I thought about it because when I was saying I'm going to write about this, and I've always said the goal in resolving an issue with a customer, whether we do it digitally or human to human, the goal is not to just fix the problem. The goal is to reestablish confidence. And what the customer support paradox is, or customer support recovery, however it's said, it doesn't matter. There's 3 or 4 different versions of the same thing. It's that when a problem is solved correctly, it increases the confidence to a higher level as if the problem had never happened before. And I've been saying that for years and years. So here's what the cartoon looks like. On the left side, if you're looking at it, there's a person who's smiling. It's a customer and says, I never have any problems with this company. And their confidence for this company is about 80%. On the other side, the right side, there's a customer who's smiling, who says, I love the way they handle my problems whenever I have them. And the confidence level is 99%. So I think that whether we're using AI or we're using human-to-human interaction, it doesn't matter as long as it gets done in the way it works. Now, a couple thoughts here. Number one, we ask customers when they're calling clients, did you decide to call us? And then, versus AI or versus digital self-support. And they go, yeah, we wanted to call you. And then we ask, well, how did you get our phone number? And by the way, I say I'm talking about my clients.
Yeah.
And the answer is, well, I went on your website. Well, guess what, my friends? You're already digital. If you're going to the website to get the phone number, why don't you finish and see if you can answer, get your question or problem resolved before you pick up the phone and make the call, have to authenticate yourself, talk to people, whatever. And you could probably handle it a lot quicker. And we tell our clients, when a customer calls with a simple issue that can be easily resolved, you should ask them, how did you get her phone number? I got on the website. Are you still on your computer? Yes, I am. Can you see right next to it, it says, what's your question? If you'd have asked that question, you'd have gotten the answer without having to give me a call. And, oh my gosh, I'll try that next time. And boom, it works. So we've got to train our customers to use the system the right way, which, by the way, is a great thing. Now, the other word, Tim, that you used a few minutes ago is balance. And we were talking about balance between trust and reliability. I don't think there's a balance. I just think it has to happen. The balance comes between AI and human. Very few companies, if any of them, even Amazon, you can eventually talk to a person if you need to.
Yes.
They lead you along a digital path, asking you questions, what's your order number, things like that. And if you get to a point where you can't get your question resolved, it says, what's your phone number? And as soon as you hit enter, almost immediately the phone starts ringing, and it's an Amazon rep who says, hey, I'm here to help you. I see you're calling about this order. It's all in front of that rep. Talk about a great human-to-human backup experience. So if a company decides to go all digital, the fear I have for them is that they become commoditized. They're going to be the same as any other company. And really, then it's a matter of, are you going to give me a better price? It's a better deal, because it's all the same. But if I can create an experience where if you need me, we're here for you, and they know that, the customer knows that, they feel comfortable, they know they can talk to a person when needed, I think then we separate ourselves, because that agent who's working with the customer can build a relationship, not just fix the problem or answer a question.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point about the fact that there seems to be this objective, isn't there, to be 100% digital. And we've probably had that ever since the term digital transformation came into circulation. And you're right that actually, to be human and for a company to be human is actually a competitive advantage.
So I do a lot of work with Verizon, and huge brand here in the U.S. They're ginormous. They're probably one of the largest, if not the largest carrier. They have stores all over the country. There's a new customer experience initiative. I had a chance to interview their CEO, and I asked questions like, okay, you're adding stores. Aren't we trying to go more digital and online? He goes, oh, no, we need to be where our customers want us to be. When I ask every high-ranking executive of Verizon, and by the way, of many other companies, I just talked to some folks at Cisco. I've talked to folks at Hewlett Packard, and I talked to them about their customer support. I asked them, is AI getting rid of people, or are you holding the same? Are you hiring more? And almost every one of them say, no, AI is not eliminating people. As a matter of fact, in many cases, companies are realizing they have to hire more, because if the AI does what it's supposed to do, which is to take care of the easiest issues, we need to have people standing by to take care of the more complicated. And I say that even today, AI could handle complicated issues, but it puts the onus on the customer to be able to communicate that properly. And frankly, they're not ready to do that. It'll frustrate the customer more if you make them do it. And I think that at the end of the day, the customer wants to talk to somebody about the higher level issues. And then the people that are being hired to do this for the company need to be trained properly. And AI is supporting that employee so that they can give the right answer to the customer. And then that employee is really being taught all kinds of communication skills, so they can show the empathy and the understanding, and they can understand the communication style that the customer has. Do they just want a quick answer? Does this person really need, an empathetic response? There's all kinds of great things that come from hiring the right people to handle the customer experience. Human to human is a backup to the AI experience.
One of the things that was interesting about the research was the generational divide.
Oh yeah, big.
And you had 61% of Gen Z successfully used AI support, whereas for boomers it was 32%. It's just interesting about how when I go to my local Apple store, the people in the Apple store will be of all ages, from people that can just about get to the tables right through. So they're all looking for that human experience. If any company could move online and digital, it would be Apple. But they're still providing
by
that.
the way, they do.
They're still providing a shop and experience,
right?
And there's still everybody, but it seems to be the customer service thing where we go, okay, I've got a problem with maybe maybe I feel more comfortable actually going to a chatbot.
It's not just comfort level. I'm going to bet many of those customers before they came in went online. And by the way, this is the only way you get to go online and get an appointment at the only way you get appointment at the Genius Bar, which is Apple's version of customer support in store, is to go online. There's a pretty good chance if you go online, it might prompt you to ask, what are your problems? What are your questions? And may give you the solution so you don't have to go to the Apple store. But I think, no pun intended, whoever came up with the idea of the Genius Bar was a genius.
Yes.
Because it really is a great way of saying, hey, if you really want to take a drive over to the Apple store, you can do it, and we'll take great care of you. But let's try to keep you from having to do that. And by the way, I've also called Apple and talked to their customer support, and they'll tell me I might need to go to the Genius Bar to have something looked at. So, again, we're looking at a balance between the human-to-human interaction and the digital support. So that's what is the key. I don't know of any company today that can go 100% digital and make every customer happy that they did.
I personally can't see it, but
I know companies that have tried it.
Yes. So what about privacy concerns? So in the news just recently, Australian airline was hacked and they lost all the customer details, the telephone numbers, the birth dates, all kinds of, so I think that people are concerned, aren't they, about having all companies holding data on them.
Right. That's one of the big concerns. As a matter of fact, there's a stat in there as well in the report, and I can't remember everything.
70% of customers expressed a privacy concern.
You remember better than I do. There it is. And they express concern about it, which means if I've got a medical issue or I've got sensitive financial issues, I'm probably going to want to talk to somebody. And this is what's amazing. I don't understand why people would rather, let's just talk about credit card information. Would you rather give your credit card information to a person you've never met before, or do it through a system that's supposed to be secure?
Of course, we know the answer.
I always joke when they go, can I have your credit card number? Sure. Can I have the expiration and that code? And I go, are you planning to go shopping anytime soon? Because that's what's going through my mind. I think that in some cases, sure, everybody should be concerned about privacy, but I don't think the AI is the issue or the digital support. I think it is a security issue with the company, and even the biggest companies get hacked. So I don't know what we can do. And as far as true privacy is concerned, some people are more comfortable with it than others. My mom, for example, may she rest in peace. I remember when I told her, Mom, you got to go and start using Amazon. You've got to use Amazon. She goes, I'm not giving them my information. Okay, Mom, you've got to. Okay, there's no choice. But I'm the guy that says, put a chip in my neck and monitor everything I do and make my life better. So I don't think there's anything I would do that's very embarrassing compared to what others are doing.
We've had a comment from William Gaynor, who says, "So true. In-person human interaction is still essential." So thank you for that.
Thanks, William. Spot on.
So Shep, sorry that the 20 minutes is up. Thank you so much.
We were just cruising.
Yeah, I know. We just got started, didn't we? And thank you so much for coming on and talking about your Forbes article. And so, if we wanted to find your latest article, where would we find it?
Well, I write weekly in Forbes. As I mentioned, my newsletter comes out every single week on Wednesdays. And just go to hyken.com and or just type my name in Google, Shep Hyken. You're going to find me.
You'll find you. Yes. Yeah. Oh, you'll find you for sure. If you can't find Shep, then you're clearly not trying hard enough. Shep, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Your expertise and insight. It's a fascinating article.